the station that's on your side. This is News 12, NBC 26 at 11.
Tonight, cancer centers across the nation dealing with a shortage of a chemotherapy medicine. And here in Augusta, the Georgia Cancer Center says they've been able to meet patient needs. They're just not sure how much longer.
Our Taylor Martin live in our newsroom tonight. Taylor, you spoke with the oncology pharmacy at the Georgia Cancer Center on what this can mean for our local cancer patients. What do they have to say?
Well, shortages of chemotherapy medicines are hitting cancer centers across the nation. And here at home at the Georgia Cancer Center, they say it's one of the most significant issues they've had to face. Cervical cancer, leukemia, breast cancer, and many more are all treated by cisplatin, carboplatin, or methotrexate. The Georgia Cancer Center says they're working harder than ever to find those three chemo drugs.
We've been very aggressive with our inventory, checking it at least 3 times weekly against who's scheduled.
Like many other survivors, it was cisplatin that helped Catherine Saunders' husband beat testicular cancer.
I think it is entirely possible if he had not had access to that drug several years ago, he may not be here.
With shortages beginning in February of this year, the Georgia Cancer Center has been able to stay afloat, taking care of patients' needs. But if there isn't a solution soon, they're not sure what the future holds.
I just truly don't know what we would do with the fact that the shortage doesn't seem to have a resolution date at this time. We're going to have to get creative, and that's never something you want to tell a patient.
Now the pressure is on lawmakers to help cancer centers across the country keep providing care and saving lives.
It's a really heartbreaking conversation, and I feel very lucky that we've been able to not have to go down that route for our patients here, but we certainly don't have endless supply. We may be facing that conversation soon.
And one thing the Georgia Cancer Center tells me about these medications is there's no alternative. So there's no better time for a solution than now.
Those drug makers really have to catch up with this demand because it's not just a problem here.
And it's a low-cost drug to make, so there's a lot of frustration all the way around about this issue. Taylor, thanks.
To weather now as we check in with First Alert meteorologist Anthony Carpino. Anthony, what's going on?
In store for the 4th of July weekend. We'll get into more on that forecast in just a few minutes.
Tonight, a 21-year-old is wanted for murder, aggravated assault, and gang activity connected to the murder of a young mom over the weekend. 23-year-old Deandra Barksdale was shot and killed at the WD liquor store, along with another woman who was shot and injured. Investigators say some sort of confrontation broke out when they believe Antonio Norman started firing into the crowd. The Wilkes County Sheriff's Office is looking for Cedric Antonio Norman. He's about 5'4". He has some tattoos on his right arm, so if you see Norman, if you know where he could be, call the Sheriff's Office.
Investigators in North Augusta are looking into the death of a woman found dead in a neighborhood this morning. Aiken County's coroner telling us Destiny Hazel was found this morning behind a storage building at a home on Walmrath Road. Right now, details are limited, but there's an autopsy set for tomorrow.
An Augusta State medical prison worker has been arrested, accused of having sex with an inmate. Fatima Maddox has been charged with sexual assault and is being held on bond at the Richmond County Jail. She was actually a surgical tech, and she is charged for having sex with the inmate during her capacity while he was in the operating room.
In Myrtle Beach, the parent of a high schooler suing a security company that employed a man charged with making threats at the local high school. Security officer Cody Kennedy accused of writing a threat to blow up the school back in March and placing the note on the floor near a 16-year-old student. Now the father of that kid is suing the security company, claiming Kennedy tried to frame the student for the threat. The suit goes on to say after the student found the note, he was questioned for hours by school administrators who actually asked him to confess to the crime.
3 people are dead after a plane crashed near the Claxton Evans County Airport. The Evans County Sheriff's Office says the plane was reported missing around 12:30 Monday morning, and authorities found it almost 5 hours later. One of the victims has been identified as a flight instructor, Bobby Smith. Family members say they were shocked and devastated to hear of his death.
Bobby was like a grandfather figure to me. Even if we weren't kin by blood, he was my certified flight instructor that I went flying with a few times.
Federal investigators are still working to figure out exactly what caused that crash. One man has been arrested in connection to a shooting that caused no injuries, but it did create quite a scene. Yesterday, Burke County deputies responded to a disturbance on Ridge Road. Two people say they were standing near the front yard when the suspect came out of his home and started yelling at them. The suspect then started threatening them, saying he would kill them. And that's when he took out his rifle and shot at both victims, deputies say. Brandon Morris arrested on Monday. He's charged with aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime.
Richmond County Sheriff Richard Roundtree talking about the number of jailers who've been arrested here and what he's doing about that. It all follows last week's arrest of a deputy accused of bringing contraband into the jail and making a lot of money doing it. Now the sheriff's office is tightening up their procedures to include full body scanners and 24/7 supervision.
We're looking at full body scanners for our employees, just the same as we use for our inmates. Again, that is also a financial burden that we want to look into to try to find. But right now, that appears to be our best course of action to keep contraband from coming in.
Since 2021, 24 Richmond County road deputies, jailers, and investigators have been arrested on a variety of offenses. Sheriff Roundtree says 8 were arrested over matters not related to work, 10 linked to contraband being brought into that jail. Special Counsel Jack Smith.
Today, too, the sunshine is going to stick around as we go through the next couple of days, and it's going to be feeling more and more like summer. Mid-90s Thursday, Friday, and upper 90s for the July 4th weekend. Full forecast when we come back.
And it was bound to happen. A couple in Colorado gets married over the weekend with the help of AI. That story and more when News 12 at 11 continues.
After a long
I guess AI is already all around us, changing how some of us do business.
And Rick Salinger tells us over the weekend in Colorado, AI played a role in a major life milestone.
Thank you all for joining us today to celebrate the extraordinary love and unity of Reese Allison Weech and Dayton Truitt.
The love was real, but the officiating was artificial.
Today, we gathered in this historic Morrison church.
That's right. Artificial intelligence was used to create the words for the voice in this ceremony. Dayton Truitt was the groom in what he calls a monumental event.
Here in the state of Colorado, by the grace of God, it's not necessary to have an officiant at the wedding, just so long as both partners agree.
And agree they did. After all, it was last minute easier and cheaper to use artificial intelligence. It was the idea of Stephen Wink, whose daughter Reese was the bride.
First it told me, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I don't have eyes, I don't have a body, I can't show up and officiate your wedding.
But using the artificial intelligence bot ChatGPT, it finally came around.
We are honored and grateful to have each and every one of you here, especially those who have traveled from out of state, notably Kansas.
My question is, just because we can do something.
Exactly. What? That was odd, wasn't it? Kind of strange.
What?
I know.
I mean, to each their own. But in case you're wondering how the couple met, it was through a dating app. So I guess they wanted to keep it
Right.
Keep it technical.
I would not recommend an AI honeymoon might not be the best idea. Just go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
We don't want to know what's in your chat GPT.
Let's have a look outside as we check the...
Heat gets cranking as we get closer to the July 4th weekend. My final forecast when we come back.
Time and Temp, brought to you by Jamie Casino Injury Lawyers.
I'm attorney Jamie Casino. If you're injured in a wreck, our team has scored record results in the courtroom, and our Google rating is excellent. Injured in a wreck? Call me right now.
It's Dodge season in Waynesboro.
Choose the exact vehicle you want, and we'll deliver it within 500 miles.
Challengers and Chargers, discounted up to $5,000.
Shop GoodToGoWaynesboro.com to save time and money.
The rooms to go July.
Chamber and Augusta Magazine invite you to attend the Member Economic Luncheon on June 29, celebrating 15 years of the top 10 in 10 young professionals and featuring a panel of past recipients. Register online at AugustaMetroChamber.com.
It's Ram season for a limited time in Waynesboro. Save up to $10,000 on Ram 2500 diesels.
Shop GoodToGoWaynesboro.com to save time and money.
GoodToGoWaynesboro.com.
All right, on the way out of here, we just want to say good luck to our first alert meteorologist, Anthony Carpino, right there accepting an Emmy, by the way.
There he is. After 4 years, Anthony will be heading back close closer to home to NBC in Connecticut, so we will definitely miss him.
Thanks, guys.
And I'll visit meteorologist.
Look at all the memories here, boy.
Oh, the tornado coverage.
Storm damage there.
Yeah, back in last spring, and then my recent story. I was really glad I got to do that one. We talked about some of the Artemis stuff last year. Ponies in Evans there. It's a lot of fun. I've had over the last 4 years.
And the most fun, winning that Emmy.
That I still can't get over that night. I've been telling everybody this at the station. I never really registered that we won until they played our little video, and I heard Riley's voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, they called us. They called us. It was crazy, and it's just been the last 4 years have just been an absolute blast. I wouldn't have traded for the world. I am excited to start in Connecticut, be a little bit closer to family.
Sure.
So looking forward to that.
I know if Riley would hit it, he would say, good job. We're glad you spent 4 years with us. No doubt about it.
Wish you well in the future. We know you're going to do great things.
And that's a wrap for News 12 at 11.